so please forgive me for how rough this is. My first attempt at filming, but I wanted to kind of jump on and talk about my alopecia story and how it's changed from when I was a teenager to now, and how I live with it. So it started when I was 16 in 2009. I was studying for my GCSEs and I found a patch about the size of a 50p coin behind my left ear and one at the nape of my neck. I did go to the GP at that point and he suggested it was probably alopecia areata, and I was referred to a dermatologist, and he looked at it, gave me a topical steroid to put on the patches, which didn't really do anything at that point. I also tried acupuncture and went to a nutritionist. The acupuncturist sent me back with this little hammer with needles on it that my mum had to hammer onto my head to try and stimulate growth, and whether it worked I don't know, but I did regain the hair between that period from 16 to 18. It did grow back. Then at 18, when I was studying for my A-levels, so maybe a recurring theme there, I found a patch in the same spot behind my left ear, again at the nape of my neck. So it was back to the GP, back to the dermatologist, back on steroids, and for a time it didn't work, but it was stable. I would regain in one patch and lose in another, but I was always able to hide it with ponytails, or I think I've kind of blocked out a lot of how I was feeling, because I know it upset me. I know I cried a lot, but I can't remember that feeling now. But then something changed again 2 years later from that point where it started, so at 20. So I don't know, it's something 16, 18, 20, things change every 2 years. But for me at 20, it went rapidly worse. My 20th birthday in the December, and I remember by my mum's birthday in the February, I had lost 90% of my hair. It just was falling out in clumps. I had to go from having a high ponytail to having a ponytail with a headband to wearing a bandana. And I was working in a cafe at this point, and I was asked several times if I had cancer. And that just feels horrible. So this is between December 2012 and February 2013. I'm losing it rapidly. So like I said, it went from hideable to not. So I got my first wig in April 2013, and I went to this little boutique in Boscombe, and the lady there was lovely, she was nice, and I did walk away with my first wig. It was a peroxide blonde, like pixie cut, and I'd always been blonde. So it could have looked like I've just had my hair cut short and bleached blonde. And I mean, I hated that wig. I hated it, but it did make me feel better in a way that my mum said I walked with my head up high for the first time in months, And even though it was uncomfortable, because I knew nothing about wigs. I knew nothing about cap construction or lace front or density or hair type, synthetic, human hair, Remy. That's all complete foreign language to me. I had no idea what that was. I just knew that I was losing my hair, and this lady handed me a synthetic wig that kind of looked like my hair again. And it did the job. It did the job. The worst bit was still to come though, because I'd always had very thick eyelashes, really bushy eyebrows, and when they started to go, that was the worst part of all of this. I know myself and many other people I've spoken to with alopecia have all said that I will be bald for the rest of my life if I could have my eyebrows and eyelashes back. I remember I was putting on mascara and my eyelashes came off on the brush and I just screamed. I screamed. It was that was the worst, absolute worst part of it. Like, yeah, that was awful. So I've always been quite a shy person. I've lacked confidence my whole life. So losing my hair really took a massive knock on that. I was very withdrawn, I suppose, and I know I've blocked out a lot of what I was feeling, I think, because I can't remember it, but I know that I spent a lot of time crying and just being sad. But in the end, it does get better. But last year I started an Instagram page called It Must Be Messy Jess, and I document all my day-to-day living with alopecia and what wigs and makeup and eyelashes and eyebrows and everything. And through that I've connected with so many amazing people who know what I'm going through and I know what they're going through, and who are all at different stages. I mean, I'm 10 years down the line now and I'm talking with women who are recently losing their hair, and it's amazing to be able to help, and they help me and I help them, at least I hope I do. Yeah, so if anyone wants to give me a follow, it must be Messy Jess. I'm so grateful to be part of this amazing community that has been developed on Instagram, because for me, if I had this kind of support 10 years ago, it would have been incredible. But it didn't exist then. There were meetups, stuff like that. I went to a few of the Alopecia UK things, but there was nothing quite like this. And yeah. So thank you for sticking through my first ever video like this. I'm sure it was pretty clunky, but I'll get better, I suppose, if I keep doing it. So thank you.